And I'm John Connor with PLCP 2420 Channel News.
We are coming to you live with Kelsey Miller, Denny Caesar, Jonathan Fairbanks, and James Jenkins, 4 students at the University of Virginia.
Today, these students have come to debate whether Weber's concerns about the disenchantment of modern society apply to the millennial generation today.
James, could you explain to our viewers what exactly Weber's theory of disenchantment is?
Absolutely. Essentially, Weber was concerned that as the world became increasingly rationalized with the rise of modern science, society began to believe that in theory we could calculate the solution to virtually any question, even the previously inexplicable. Weber was afraid this would cause broader values and issues about life itself to fall out of public view and only matter on an individual level, while scientific pursuits would take the forefront of public thought.
So, Kelsey, do you think that this is an issue in millennial culture today?
John, I'm glad you asked. Today, empirical fields take the spotlight. Millennials grew up in a society heavily focused on explaining the world in scientific terms, which has made them lose their touch with their subjective human nature. They're encouraged to pursue lucrative fields like data science or analysis or medicine because of the value placed on science and the wealth instead of the subjects they are genuinely passionate about. Weber's build on self-cultivation through pursuing genuine interests to reach personal and cultural maturity has been lost. Youth just aren't focused on answering questions about religion, moral values, etc. to benefit society. The shift of public focus away from the subjective questions of human life demonstrates disenchantment.
If I can jump in, Kelsey, this is exactly what Weber feared. Public issues like ethics, art, and philosophy have moved from public concern into private realms. With today's youth using science to explain their world, millennial religious faith has decreased, due in part to the lack of supporting scientific evidence. Rationalization has caused many millennials to cast important questions of the human condition to the side, rather than publicly promoting the exploration of these complex topics.
Exactly. The public consideration of questions science can't explain would actually re-emphasize the enchantment of our world.
Thank you. Now, turning over to Jonathan, do you agree that millennial culture is disenchanted?
Actually, I disagree. While the science does have an important role in society, it's not the only thing young people are focusing on. Many also passionately study humanities and social sciences like politics, art, philosophy, music, etc. We see many millennial activists bringing issues like poverty, human rights, and education into the public eye. A great example is the action UVA students took after the events of August of 2017 by publicly rallying against racial intolerance. Millennials are very active in discussing the problems we cannot fix with science, and because even science doesn't have all the answers, the world remains enchanting.
On top of that, we will still see active millennial participation in religion, even more so towards the activism side of things. Millennials who are not even religious are passionate about religious tolerance and knowledge. Millennials don't ignore questions about religion, but rather confront them to better understand human culture. Many of my peers have taken classes about various religions to learn about different ways of viewing the world.
Not only are millennials studying different religions to understand the way others think, but in a way they are also exploring possible answers to questions of human existence, purpose, and morality that science has failed to provide. If anything, millennials are not reserving questions of religion for private life, but actively integrating it into their education and public life.
Very interesting. This last question is for all of you. How has the presence or absence of disenchantment in our modern society personally impacted your lives? Denise, let's start with you.
Personally, disenchantment has certainly affected my life. Growing up in a highly science-oriented society, I learned to use rationality to understand my own identity, purpose, and environment. Because of this, I've always been atheist and opposed to organized religion, mainly due to its track record of consequences and a lack of definitive scientific evidence. Rationalization has definitely led me to believe religion is a personal concept and that society would actually function better without religion in the public sphere.
I do not believe disenchantment has infected my life greatly. I still hold deeper values that drive my life, and that greater ideology is one that I believe is held by many other people. Also, I believe the work I'm doing serves a greater purpose than to simply rationalize the known world.
Me personally, disenchantment has definitely affected my life. Due to being in a highly rationalized environment, I certainly have evolved to think in the same way. As a third-year student athlete at UVA, my initial excitement and motivation to become a better athlete that I once felt as a first year has subsided, and I have become more worried about my life after college instead. While I still enjoy my sport, I no longer see it as the end-all be-all of my college experience because I've come to understand that there are more important things.
I would agree that disenchantment hasn't played a major role in my life. I feel that I'm still very motivated in my day-to-day life, and in addition, I still hold the same core values and goals as important.
Thank you for your insight. I'm sure I can speak for all of us on the set and our viewers that you all have given us a lot to think about.
Yes, thank you.
This is Sergio Mendez and John Connor, live with PLCP 2420 Channel News.
Stay tuned on PLCP 2420 Channel News for our upcoming comedy program, Carl Remarks. Carl, take it away.